Hello and welcome to Ukraine Today. My name is Sergey Aganesian, and today I'm joined by Turkey's Ambassador to Ukraine, Mr. Yonet Tezel. Mr. Tezel, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you, Sergey. Welcome.
Thank you. So, Mr. Tezel, Fethullah Gulen, a Turkish preacher and a political figure, was named by the Turkish government a mastermind behind this failed coup attempt in Turkey. And recently, Turkish state-run news agency Anadolu published an article claiming that there are certain terrorist organizations, as they call them, that are associated with Mr. Gulen. So, since this is a state-run news agency, are there any terrorist organizations that Turkey considers threatening or dangerous in Ukraine?
Well, first of all, this, you said, political figure. Indeed, the aim of this organization has been to infiltrate Turkish state system and change the political system. You would not expect this from any normal religious or civil society group. In what happened last week or 10 days ago in Turkey is in fact was a coup attempt using weapons belonging to the army, bought by with people's tax money, against their own people, against the Turkish people. And until then, some of the things were maybe difficult to prove, but now it's all there. We all watched it live. But coming back more to your question, this is an organization, secretive, and it presents itself as if it has these benevolent, positive, just cultural activities. They boast that they are active in about 150 countries. And there are organizations which are linked to this structure. Yes, there are some in Ukraine too. Ukrainian government knows about them.
But do you consider them terrorist organizations?
The structure is a terrorist organization. Depending on how much they are linked and what kind of activities they do, I think the Ukrainian authorities have the intelligence capability, security capability, this sense of security, and in fact, sense of national security to look at things, to look at the facts, and decide on their own, within Ukrainian law, but of course, keeping in mind our very good friendly relationship and what is required as strategic partners. They will look into this and take the necessary steps. I don't want to give any names, any point to anything. Ukrainian authorities know. And this organization has infiltrated many public institutions in Turkey. A lot of associations, institutions, as I said, and perhaps people who are associated with those institutions aren't necessarily rank and file soldiers or disciples of this group. That needs to come out from the process, from the investigations, if necessary, from the trials.
If they are really, the core is a terrorist organization, so is Turkey okay with this organization just be simply operating in Ukraine?
The way this group has operated even prevented us in Turkey finding all the evidence before. It all poured on the night of the coup. Please note that there were serious investigations going against these, and trial process has already started in Turkey. And the way we looked, the evidence suggesting that is the accusation, what they want to do, change the democratic order, change the constitution. So, of course, any associates, any affiliates, extensions of this abroad is a source of concern for us. What I'm trying to say is it's not only a concern for us. It's a concern for all these countries. Having said that, even in Turkey, there are quite a lot of people detained. Some of them, perhaps, depending on the investigation, maybe some of them will be found to be innocent. They will walk free. Some already have. Some will be arrested, because not all of them are arrested. Some are just in detention. They will be tried. And maybe if the prosecution cannot prove their guilt, they will be freed again. So there is a process ongoing for us, but our friends, allies abroad also should take a serious look at this. And I'm sure the Ukrainian government is aware and understanding the seriousness, and they will act within the law as required. But as I said, keeping in mind that this is a very serious matter for us and for the whole region.
But you know, not everyone agrees with Turkish stance on the things, on the arrests, and we know that judges have been arrested, teachers arrested, and even journalists. Yes. Dozens of media outlets, I think, have been closed by the Turkish government. So where is the line here between the protection of the people's right to have a democratically elected government and a basically fight against opposition and dissidents?
This group hasn't been, wasn't, and still isn't the opposition in Turkey. That's very unfair to the real opposition in Turkey. This group was always saying we are not political, you know, we are not in politics, but then why can you own these newspapers and this group of pseudo-opinion makers, all attached hierarchically, it now comes out, hierarchically, not a civil society organization, to someone outside. If your allegiance is to some other person who's not elected, some outside, if you get instructions from that, keep silent, that's cheating the people. That's against democracy. So, and if you get these cues, you have secret communication within your group, waiting for some day to, you know, come out. And as I said, it came out when the investigation process, trial process of the last 2 years were coming to their final stage, when a lot of people would be detained and arrested, and they saw that and in a rushed way, rushingly, resorted to this as their maybe last resort.
You know, you seem pretty sure, and Turkey seems pretty sure that Fethullah Gulen was behind this coup and the people he influenced them somehow.
Yes.
But I'm curious, because in the West, and especially in the United States, they're not so sure that Fethullah Gulen
I
is
think
guilty.
that's a fair question. I think it's changing. I mean, even in Turkey, a lot of people couldn't believe that, because the news of this had been coming out in years, that they had infiltrated this, they were this. People thought it was an exaggeration. Otherwise, why would any government in their own right, any opposition, any citizen allow this? But, you know, it was like unbelievable, like a movie, like a big conspiracy. But now there's so much evidence, and all those, the books written about them in the past, the allegations, the trials which were stopped in their tracks by their people within the judiciary, which couldn't go forward these trials. Had they been, maybe it would have been revealed earlier. Now, plenty of evidence. To the United States, for example, we've already sent 4 files for extradition. More are coming. I think given the facts, the views will change, and our friends and allies will understand that this is not just something in the minds of a government in Turkey just trying to suppress the opposition. That view is so unfair to the real Turkey, the whole of the Turkish society. You cannot change the rule of the game like that. And in Turkey, you know, the game is democracy. People have internalized this. This has taken time. The EU, our friends in the EU, have helped develop this process over the decades. Turkish people cannot unlearn democracy. It's past, okay? We are now somewhere else. Maybe 30, 40 years ago it was different.
Mr. Ambassador, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for your answers. They are much appreciated.
Thank you. Thanks, Sergey.
This is where we have to stop, unfortunately. I'm Sergey Aganisyan. You've been watching Ukraine Today. Many thanks for joining us, and I'll see you next time.